Thank you so very much. Thank you. I first want to give the honor and the glory to God, without whom I am nothing. And then I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank you for getting up, getting out, and getting involved. There are changes that have been made in the law over the last 10 to 15 years, actually. And they've been made one at a time, a little here and a little there. And the results of those changes have impacted our court system and our way of life. I'm a firm supporter of the Constitution. The Constitution is a recipe by which we are going to govern ourselves, how we interact with each other as citizens, and how our government is to interact with us. And the Constitution states that we are entitled to a jury of our peers. There was a recent study conducted which demonstrated that minorities, people of color, and women are not reporting to jury duty in proportion to their numbers in the population of Wayne County. By way of case law, it has been determined in recent years that as long as it's anybody from your community, that's good enough. Government is supposed to be, in my opinion, reflective of the people that it serves. And in order for it to be reflective of the people that it serves, it should reach out to all of its communities and afford us all an opportunity to be part of that government process. In recent months, the judges of the Wayne County Circuit Court have been restricted from issuing writs of habeas corpus. And this is the order that judges can give when an individual has been locked up in jail, in prison, beyond a reasonable time frame, without a bond, without knowing what their charges are for excessive bond. And the state law says that any judge can issue a writ. That has included retired judges. But as of this fall, only one of the 63 judges in Wayne County are being allowed to sign a writ per week, and it changes every week. So from week to week, you have to try to find out which judge is the emergency judge for that week, and then once you have located that judge, see if you can obtain a writ. Now, you can still go to the district court and get writs, and you can go to any other county and get a writ and bring it back to Wayne County, but you cannot go to any judge who is on the Wayne County Circuit Court. That is an issue of concern. In addition, recently I have been withheld the right to hear pretrial motions. And pretrial motions are the hearings that attorneys will bring before a judge in a case assigned to a judge where questions, most often than not, constitutional law questions are raised. Whether or not the stop was constitutional, whether or not the search was constitutional, whether or not the jury is constitutional. All of these issues are generally addressed by the judge that is going to hear the trial. At this juncture, I am the only judge in the state of Michigan who is no longer hearing pretrial motions. The concern is this precedent setting? Will it occur to other judges? Also, I'm going to speak on one more, and then I'm going to say what we hope to accomplish, and we're going to move on. The law has been changed to where the accused no longer has the right to say whether they want to be tried by judge or by jury. That right has been given to the prosecutor's office. And that's not just Wayne County, that is statewide. So we now have a scenario that reminds me of my early childhood lessons of early American history, where the government brings the charges, the government proves the charges, and the government decides to whom the charges will be proven. All of these things have happened in the last several years. What do we hope to accomplish? Today, primarily, we want to educate. We want to tell you the changes that have occurred in the law so that you can tell somebody else. and they can tell someone else again. The public is not aware of these changes, and they're not aware how it impacts the trial process in the courts. So the first thing we want to do is we want to educate. Then we want to find out from you what your talents are. Everyone has a talent. If your talent is making rap songs, we want you to make a rap song about upholding the Constitution. If your talent is quilting, we want you to make a quilt about the Bill of Rights. If your talent is singing, if your talent is playing the piano, if your talent is making a poem, if your talent is whistling, whistle my country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where our fathers died, land where the pilgrims cried. Let freedom ring from every mountainside. Because people need to be aware. We're hoping to propose new legislation. We have attorneys who are meeting, who are drafting legislation, so we're hoping to have new legislation. When the legislation is placed in for our bodies in Lansing, we need people who are going to make phone calls. We need people who are going to send emails. We need people who are going to write letters in order to make the elected officials aware that we want these changes in the law. If you don't tell them, they won't know. We want to have hearings. We're hoping that perhaps we can have hearings before the Civil Rights Commission to determine how these laws have impacted our quality of life. And if you have a story to tell that you want the commission to hear, we need to know that. We need to know that. If you are representing a community group, if you are representing a church, you want a speaker to come out and explain the changes in the law and how that's impacting our community, we need to hear from you. Okay. So that is the next thing. I'm going to move it on now. Get out the vote. You'll hear more about that as well. Again, give yourselves a round of applause for being here today.